Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas Packers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Dallas Cowboys 2025 3-round mock draft, post-Super Bowl edition. Watching the Philadelphia Eagles completely dominate the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl hopefully lit a fire under the Dallas Cowboys brass to change their philosophical approach to the offseason. This team currently has a lot of roster needs and will need to take full advantage of both free agency and the 2025 NFL Draft to build/upgrade their roster. While being more active in free agency to bring in known and established players to be starters or add depth is something we highly encourage for the Cowboys, even though we all know they prefer to build their roster through the draft. They've been one of the better drafting teams in the league, but have struggled to find impact players recently. Today, with the use of Pro Football Focus Mock Draft Simulator, we attempt to predict how the Cowboys could use their picks in the first 3 rounds of the 2025 NFL Draft. We approached this with the mindset of committing to the running game, getting Dak Prescott another receiving weapon, and adding depth to the defensive line. This pick is all about committing to the running game and protecting the highest-paid player in the league, QB Dak Prescott. Armand Membou has experience playing both RG and RT during his time at Missouri and is expected to bring that position flex to the NFL as well, something we all know the Cowboys place a high value on. At 6 feet 3 inches, 315 pounds with 34-inch arms, Membou would give the Cowboys another versatile offensive lineman similar to that of Tyler Smith. His ability to start at RG or RT would give Dallas the option to replace Terrence Steele, making him a salary cap casualty, or slide him into Zach Martin's vacant RG position. He could be an invaluable piece moving forward. Again, this pick is all about committing/upgrading the running game. While it's true the 2025 RB draft class is a deep one, without a 4th-round pick the Cowboys would be wise to strike early to upgrade their rushing attack, and Caleb Johnson has the ability to do just that. He checks all of the boxes NFL teams look for in a starting running back. At 6 feet 0 inches, 225 pounds, the former Iowa Hawkeyes RB has the prototypical size the Cowboys look for in their RB1 and the ability to be a complete 3-down back. He has a rare blend of physicality, speed, and elusiveness, but it's his vision and patience as a runner sets him apart from a lot of the RB draft class. He has big play potential at the next level as a starter. It wasn't long ago Isaiah Bond was considered a surefire 1st-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, but a down season last year at Texas negatively impacted his draft stock. For a team like the Cowboys who are in desperate need of adding more weapons to their aerial attack to help both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, this could be an absolute steal. At 5 feet 11 inches, 180 pounds, and still just 20 years old, Bond has the talent to be an impact weapon in the passing game despite a down year in 2024. He has the tools needed to be a 3-level threat as well as the speed, explosiveness, and flexibility to be a YAC demon. With little more development, he could be one of the best WRs from this draft class. What if Cowboys had listened to Mel Kiper and Daniel Jeremiah in the last 10 drafts? ESPN's Mel Kiper and NFL.com's Daniel Jeremiah are 2 of the biggest names in the mock draft business and have been for years. So today we ask ourselves what would have happened if the Cowboys had followed the pair's mock draft suggestions in the 1st round of the last 10 drafts, and how that compares to what the Cowboys actually did, something we've done intermittently here on Blogging the Boys over the last decade or so, albeit Daniel Jeremiah now takes the place of Todd McShay, who's out of the mock draft business for now. In the mock draft world, there's only one mock that ultimately counts, the final mock draft published before the actual draft. That doesn't stop mock drafters from creating countless mocks before that final one, but most of those are entertainment for a long off-season. Which is why today we'll only look at Kiper's and Jeremiah's final mock drafts from 2015 through 2024. Before we check out the 2 draft experts, here is a summary of the Cowboys' 1st-round picks in the last 10 drafts, along with some metrics we'll use to evaluate the picks. Why the cutoff at 10 years? Simply because it's a nice round number. At 11 years, we'd have included Zach Martin, which would have made the Cowboys look a lot better. At 12 years, Travis Frederick would have been a strong add to the list. At 13, we'd have included Morris Claiborne, not a great look for the Cowboys. 14 years? Tyron Smith, plus good. 15 years? Dez Bryant, double plus good. And that's a bit of an issue for the Cowboys' draft record. That 5-year stretch between 2010 and 2014 outperforms the next 10 years in every single metric on the table above: 11 All-Pro seasons, 25 Pro Bowl seasons, 40 starter seasons, 602 games started, and a strong weighted career approximate value, WAVE, of 340. Like many things in the Cowboys universe, the Cowboys' draft record lives mostly on past glories, and I shudder to think what that record would look like had the team not lucked into Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, or had gotten its hands on Paxton Lynch in 2016. Dallas is not the Pro Bowl factory it once was. Here's how the Cowboys' draft record over the last 10 years compares to the rest of the league in terms of WAVE. Overall, the table establishes that the Cowboys have been a middling drafting team over the last 10 years, ranking close to average with their first-round picks. Of course, the numbers would be better without Taco Charlton, but every team whiffs on a first-rounder at some point. And yes, had they not traded away their 2019 first-rounder, they'd probably also look better. But it is what it is. With that, let's turn to Kiper and Jeremiah to see how their picks for the Cowboys hold up in this comparison. But before we do that, we have to recognize that this is not, of course, an apples-to-apples comparison. Kiper and McShay have to make assumptions about all the picks ahead of the Cowboys in their mock drafts, and then have to assign one of the remaining players to the Cowboys based on a first-round mock that is bound to be imperfect. We do not know which player each draftnik would have picked if he had been in charge of the Cowboys' draft on draft night, and going back and following their draft night commentary to figure out who they suggested when the Cowboys were on the clock is just not feasible. However, in some drafts, one or both draftniks have offered picks for the Cowboys where the players or positions selected were in the pre-draft favorites pool, so they at least partly reflect popular sentiment at the time. Internal discussions: Cowboys superstar trade coming imminently? As of this posting, there have been internal discussions circulating Dallas Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons could be moving on in a trade. According to several sources, a trade involving Parsons was discussed in the front office as a possibility that may happen. It wasn't too long until Cowboy players such as wide receiver CeeDee Lamb said the rumors were baseless. This could be true, but with the landscape of where this organization is going, there's speculation the team could tank. However, Parsons is hoping for a new deal while he enters the 5th-year option of his rookie contract. He said before he would be flexible for a new deal, but the question is, what does that look like for the Dallas front staff? Parsons could soon notice the Cowboys are in a transition with the emergence of head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Depending on what other pass rushers such as Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, or T.J. Watt receive in a new contract, he may look for a greater deal above them. Cowboys COO Stephen Jones does not envision Parsons playing anywhere but Dallas. The Cowboys would probably have to play it smart to extend him to a contract before any other team does. However, the chances of that happening are low considering the Cowboys have been delaying the process of extending their best players. If the Cowboys do entertain a trade, these teams may offer a lucrative deal the team can't turn down. With the state of the Chargers' financial situation, head coach Jim Harbaugh should put the team in the best position to get the best of the best. Khalil Mack doesn't look like he'll be coming back, and Joey Bosa is a cut candidate. Meanwhile, they have to find a contract that suits Poona Ford after the one season he had last year with the Chargers. Los Angeles has their eyes on their offense, improving it for quarterback Justin Herbert, but they must do something to improve its defense to get after the opposing team. There would be no better fit for Parsons than to land in Los Angeles as the main contributor to the defensive trenches. Since the Chargers have a promising team and a regime that works for Parsons, he could request a trade to this team to become the main spotlight of trenches defense. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Micah Parsons? Leave your opinion in the comments.